the cloud. Webinar is now live streaming. Okay, hey, we are live on Facebook. I did it 2 weeks in a row.
Right.
I know that that's like silly, but like I'm so freaking proud of myself for figuring something technical out.
I'm totally proud of you too, because like I'm proud of me because I figured it out too, and it's just like it's a challenge, right?
It totally is.
It's like, we did it.
Woohoo! Women getting shit done. That's what this is all about.
Gotta get that shit done.
That's right. Yeah. So, hey, this is episode 2 of #StayWildChild. And I'm going to come up with like a group name to encompass it all because this is going to be a podcast as soon as I figure that part out. I did upload it to YouTube last week, so I got that done. And then, of course, we're going to be live in my group, #StayWildChild. And so a friend of mine, Kelly, she said, why don't you call it a Hope Cast? And I'm like, ooh, I kind of like that. So I think what I might do is I'll come up with some fun prize. Oh, maybe one of my fun sweatshirts. I'll come up with a fun prize, and then we'll come up with like a naming, right? Like, so we'll come up with some different names and then have a little contest around, figuring out.
I'm naming the podcast. That would be awesome.
Yeah, like naming the collection. Yeah. Okay, so I'll stop rambling for a moment and introduce Lisa McCullough. I'm so excited that she decided to join me on episode 2 of #StayWildChild. And so last week was Jill, and Lisa actually knows Jill. And I told this to Jill. So, I am getting just going. I am kind of just getting ramped up. So we'll totally do this interview. And then once I like get my feet all wet and I'm like, okay, I'm jamming now. You're going to come back on, okay?
Absolutely.
All right, cool.
I'm there. That'll be fun. Really, really awesome.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right. So I have known Lisa for about a year, and we met through the Quantum Revolution Tour, Jessica Ahlstrom's Quantum Revolution Tour. And Lisa and her husband are one of the coolest couples. So like last week, I just interviewed Jill, but Jill and Derek are one of the coolest couples, and you and your husband Darren are one of the coolest couples. And I always like to kind of start at the beginning because, I think that sometimes people will see you on stage, they'll see me on stage, they'll see Jill leading this big breath work, standing in her goddess energy, and they think, oh, well, like, that's just who they are, right? Like, they're just kind of like naturally gifted that way. I know for myself, I've had some things that I've dealt with, and then I've grown, and then I just kind of keep practicing. So if you don't mind, just kind of take us back just a little bit to kind of like where you came from, and talk just a little bit about, kind of your growth to this awareness, to this awakening. And we'll just let you start there.
Okay, great. Yeah, because, oh my gosh, like this is big for me. I am not the kind of girl who would get up on a stage and talk in front of people, right? And so it's a lot of growth has gone into that. And a lot of growth has gone into even where I'm at right now. In my spiritual awareness, my love of magic and goddess energy and all of that stuff. So, I mean, Darren and I, my husband, we do everything together, right? Our journeys have been like side by side. So we met when we were 18 years old. And so we've been together for 31 years this year. And, it's amazing. So we were children when we met, right? We were children, seriously. And so we've grown together. So everything we do has been together. So back in we own our own company. So we've always been entrepreneurs. Okay. We've gone through awesome high times. We've gone through the crash of 2008 together, where that was kind of where our journey started. Okay. Because I'm just going to be real and raw because that's the only way I can be. Okay. I literally had a nervous breakdown. I had a nervous breakdown, pretty much fell on the floor. We were losing our house. We were losing vehicles. We were losing everything. And I couldn't handle it. I'd never dealt with anything like that before. And I had 2 young boys and we were in dire straits. And I was like, I have to figure something out. I have to figure this out. I have to figure this out. But I kept saying, I have to figure this out. And I couldn't. I didn't know the way. I didn't know what to do. I just, I was trying to figure all this stuff out. We were starting to look at the spiritual stuff and starting to understand this kind of thing. And I just finally, I broke and fell on the floor on my knees and was like, I surrender. I don't know what to do. Please, God, guide me and show me the way. And once I surrendered to that, to the divine to guide me through, Darren and I together, that's when things started to change. And I had to become okay with losing everything. Once I became okay with losing everything, I didn't lose everything, but I had to become okay with it first. And so our faith grew and we grew together spiritually. We started to learn about all, like the law of attraction and all of that stuff and bringing the divine into that. And that's when we really just, our spiritual journey started then. Just growth upon growth, quick growth. We brought our company back immediately. I started to learn how I had been manifesting my whole life. And I was like, oh my gosh, there's a word for that. It's called, or a name for that. It's called law of attraction. Oh my goodness. I've been doing this. We've been doing this for so long. We didn't even know what we were doing. But once we got into understanding this stuff, that is when I started realizing, holy cow, okay, this is what I do. And then this is what shows up. So let's just do that a little bit more. And, and so that's when I started to really start working with the law of attraction and learning just more and more about that and how to bring things about. And we brought our company back and, within 3 months we were back and didn't lose our house. Thank you. And just evolution. I mean, come forward, like 5 years from there, Darren and I decided to go on another journey together, and we decided we wanted to change our health. He had been, he has a very physical job, working his tail off, day in and day out. And he was to the point where, he was hurting every day. And we're like, okay, how do we change this? We started going to school to learn naturopathic medicine. And became detoxification, healing, and cellular regeneration specialists with Dr. Morse, ND. And
nice. I didn't know that. Okay.
So we decided one day that we're going to go raw vegan tomorrow. And we're going to do detoxification of every cell in our body. And so we did it. And I cried. I was like, I don't know what to do. How am I going to do this? Oh my gosh. But we did it together. And so we did it together. We did, and this was literally for our health, to bring us back into homeostasis, to detox all the years of whatever out of our bodies, and to get back to feeling better, right? This was I think we were 40. We're going to be 50 I'm going to be 50 this month, so yay, 50s.
Oh, yay. Okay.
It's my birthday month. So yeah, so that is how. And I tell you what, when we did the raw vegan thing, we did that for 2.5 years. So we went through 14 weeks, 2 14-week stints of literal hardcore raw vegan detoxification with hardcore herbs and essential oils. And so that's when I discovered essential oils and raw food, herbal remedies and things like that. And we really just dug into that. And so that is when our spiritual awareness literally skyrocketed to the moon and back. When our bodies I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go back there again. I'm really feeling like I need to go back there again, because it really, when you put only clean, really, really high quality, clean food in your body, and you release all of the acid within the body, the spiritual awareness literally skyrockets. And so as you on your health journey, you know, like when you start down that road, everything starts to really get clear. You start getting clear, things start coming in, you're able to connect with spirit. That is when I really started working and with like divine feminine, learning about all of that, learning to really connect with the divine and learn about the moon phases and all of the goddessy woo-woo stuff that I love so much. You know, we started learning Magick and working with Magick too. So yeah, so that's kind of where it came from. I mean, I've never been, I haven't been, you know, here all my life. You know, I came from really, you know, a lot of anger in my life, just because, you know, just stress and that kind of thing. I was a workaholic, you know, working till 2 o'clock in the morning, getting back up at 6 to take my kids to school and whatnot, owning a business and all of that. And through our spiritual enlightenment, basically journey, I've been able to really hone in and empower myself to just be the best that I can be every day and release all the bull hockey, all the limiting beliefs that kept me, you know, kind of playing small and whatnot. So yeah, so that's kind of where, that's my little story.
I love it. I love it. You know, you told me when we were in Kansas City, you said, oh my gosh, our stories are so similar, because we went through pretty much the same thing in 2008. And it's like that. It's like, I give up, right? Like I let go of control. Take it if you got to take it, because, you know, when you're holding on so tight, it's like you just keep bringing that lack in, right?
Exactly. And the lack thoughts continue of like, what am I going to do when I lose? You know, it's such a cycle. And if you if you can just release it, surrender, and just give control to spirit, the universe, God, you know, goddess, however, that is when things start changing. And that's what I know. So what I know now, when I start seeing that stuff start coming in, when I feel the limiting beliefs and whatnot, the anxiety and those kinds of things starting, I know I have to surrender again and really just say, you know, take the wheel, because I'm needing that nurturing. I'm needing to let go, give control to the divine. So that's
absolutely,
yeah.
I couldn't agree more, because I've been through exactly the same thing, and I've come out on the other side, and it's like, all right.
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit. There's a couple of things that I want to talk with you about today, but so let's first of all talk about your essential oils, your group that you run, and what, you know, you talked about, you were a health coach, and so that's what opened your mind to essential oils when you went to that raw vegan route, right?
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
All right, so why did you bring them into your life kind of to begin with?
Yeah, so basically I brought them into my life because we were detoxing, and I was using herbal tinctures and whatnot. And then a friend had just said, hey, you should try these oils. I know you're into natural things. You should try some. And I have animals. I have a farm. So I have horses, chickens, dogs, all, you know, the whole thing. And I try to be this natural girl, right?
Sure.
And always my whole life, really. I mean, I grew up on a farm. I grew up, my mom, just using natural things always. So when Laura had said, hey, you should try these oils, she sent me a bunch of samples of them. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay, this is really cool. And I started digging in. I'm like a studier, right? I'm like, I got to know all the science about this. Oh my gosh. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm using herbs, but I can use the oils of the herbs and have it be like 7 times more powerful. Holy cow. I can use half of what I am using in herbal stuff with the oils and get an even better result. And so I started using the oils within our detox, like, we're doing juicing and whatnot, and juicing like massive cilantro and like celery and all of this stuff. I'm like, okay, well, I can just use 2 drops of cilantro oil and I'm not having to juice all this cilantro, and drink and guzzle it down. Anyway, so that was a big thing for me when I was like, okay, this is amazing because it's literally replacing the massive amount of money that I'm spending on all the herbs that I'm juicing just by using oils instead. So that was a big deal. And then also,
sure, I can see that.
Yeah, I was like, 2 drops of cilantro versus 2 giant bunches of it juiced. So
yeah.
Anything, I'm the girl that says, if it ain't easy, I ain't doing it. And so I could make things easier for myself. And I'm like, I'm doing that. And it just really helped with that part of it. The other thing was, I have all these animals. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, I can use these oils for my animals as well. Are you kidding me? How cool is that? So just lo and behold, out of the blue, law of attraction here, my horse ended up getting an abscess in her hoof. Okay. So that's something that, the vet has to come out, you cut it out, down into what's causing the abscess. It's about a 6-week healing situation for the horse, like in the stall, cleaning, soaking, blah, 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 every day. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to use these oils. So I call my vet. I'm like, hey, we're going to use oils. She's like, okay, cool. Let's try it. She's awesome. She's a natural vet, all that stuff. She's like, okay, what are we using? So I'm like, here's the sheet. Here's the little directions my friend gave me with all the what they do. Which ones should we use? She's like, okay, use this one, this one, this one, this one. So we started using the oils with my vet and the horse. And like 6 days later, I call her and I'm like, dude, Heather, the horse is walking on her foot normal. It's better already. She's like, what? Are you kidding me? How does that happen? It should be 6 weeks. I'm like, no, you got to come see. So she comes over. She's like, are you kidding me? Oh my God. It's the oil, obviously, because this is like a 6-week situation. Anyhow, so the healing power of these oils literally blew my mind. And then for my vet to confirm, oh my gosh, give me that sheet again. I'm going to start using these in my practice. Wow. I was completely sold on them. So, and then being able to work, my kids, like dealing with like seasonal threats and things like that with like strep throat and all that kind of thing, flus and stuff that the kids get. I mean, they were in high school, but still, my son had ended up like a strep throat and a tonsillitis all at the same time. I was like, nope, not doing antibiotics. We're doing oils, and we heal that thing in like 5 days versus a 10-day cycle of essential oils. And with my background in detox and all that stuff, I know that if you use antibiotics, it destroys your gut and everything else. You have to then rebuild that. So that is what really sold me on the oils. And I got started. I was like, okay, this is awesome. So I just started using them in our life. And I was like, you know what? I can make. I'm gonna start sharing these with people because everybody needs to have these in their house. I'm like, oh my gosh, my girlfriends need to have these. My fellow horse owners need to have these. My fellow dog owners got to have these oils in their home to help heal their animals and their kids and themselves. And then I started getting into the emotional benefits of the oils and the spiritual benefits and what they can do for me in meditation. And then we started using them in our sex life. And that really blew everything up. And I'm like, oh my God, if this is going to create this, we are on this stuff. So anyway, that's where I've gone with the oils. And emotionally, to be honest with you, I would be a raving lunatic if I did not have them. So
the mood enhancement is on point with the oils.
Oh my God. Like there's no, like I am like a really high strung person. And these, but I used to be high strung in a more anxious way of just like stressed out all the time. Just Now with these, I know you're with your Thrive, you call it
smooth energy with a side of heavy.
Exactly. Yes,
yeah.
I love that so much. And so that is also, it enhances that. It helps you calm down, take that anxiety that, or whatever spectrum it's on, anxiety, depression, whatever it is,
Right.
and helps you balance out and be at a more even tone and not lose your mind and not feel sad all the time. Anyway, so it's just, it really has helped me emotionally like nobody's business. I'm able to stay more even. If I have stress come in, you know, I am a very consistent oil user, so I don't use them as a afterthought of like, oh my gosh, I've got anxiety, oh my gosh, or whatever, I need to put my oils on. I'm like consistent, proactive with them. And so like I take my adaptive every single day. I roll that adaptive oil on me, slather myself with it every single day when I get up, you know, all throughout the day. I use the oils as perfume. That way I'm getting them on my body and in my, you know, to my limbic system to affect brain chemistry every day, all day long. So then I don't even have to go down that road. I mean, yeah, we all have our ups and downs and shit happens, shiitake happens, right? But if we have a tool like the oils to be proactive with, you're going to have more better days than worse. So, you know, and that's my whole deal with the oils. They've literally changed my life and the life of a lot of women that I work with, to help them with emotional issues, sadness, body, oh gosh, what do you call it? How you feel about yourself,
Right.
You know, and whatnot.
Self-esteem builders, confidence builders.
Exactly. It's just changed so much for me, in that department that it's like, it's priceless. And yeah.
I love your passion. I love your passion behind it. And, you know, I've always used essential oils, but I didn't know as much about them until like really you started talking about them, and I hung out with you, and then I became part of your group, and I bought some of your oils, and I started learning more and more. And so now I'm really deliberate about the types of oils. Like the one I use in my bedroom is different than the one I use in my office, trying to keep that scent real consistent in my bedroom.
Yes.
And then, you know, in my office. So, and then I love your blends.
Yeah.
So of course I put this on actually like really before I do anything. I love your Essential Goddess blend because, and so will you talk about like the chemistry behind this? So how did you decide to do your own blends, and how do you research them? And, or is this something that's just intuitive to you, or I'll let you take it from there.
Absolutely. Well, you know, the oil, and I don't have my book right here. I should have brought my book in. Darn. Anyway, so we have a book called Emotions and Essential Oils, and it is a book that goes over the spiritual benefits, the emotional benefits of each oil. Like geranium, for instance, is in that Essential Goddess blend. I have a spiritual relationship with geranium. Once you start using these oils on a consistent basis, you literally start having a relationship with them, and they start talking to you, and you start working with them. It's just really a beautiful thing. Now, I'm specifically speaking about doTERRA oils because they're pure. You know, we don't want to be putting adulterated things on our body that have fillers in them and could be, you know, have weeds and pesticides and whatnot. So the pure oils are going to give you the pure effect of the oil. And so I just started, I mean, we have blends, right? But I'm like, you know, I'm always extra. And so I'm like, I got to make my own stuff. And so I started going through the book. Okay, you know what? I want to feel more like this. And so what I'll do is I'll use that book. And like geranium is the oil of love and trust. And so I'm like, I'm going to use that one. Now, let me tell you a little story though, actually about geranium, because I hated it. I hated it for a very long time. I did not like it. I did not like the smell of it. I'm like, oh God, no, I'm never, I don't even like geranium. And then I learned that when you have an aversion to an oil, like when you smell it and you're like, no, I don't like it. That's the oil your body needs.
Ah, okay.
Right? So if you're repelled by it, you really need to use it because that's what your body is needing. Okay. And so here I am, like 47 or whatever. I'm starting to go through some hormonal changes, if you know what I mean. And so that's how I made the Essential Goddess blend, because I'm like, I'm going through these hormonal changes, ups and downs and mood and all this other stuff, and hot flashes and everything else that you can think of that goes into all that lovely menopause stuff. And I was like, okay, I don't like geranium, but if you don't like one, you're supposed to be using it. So, all right, I'll try geranium. I'll try using it. And I started using a little bit more, and I literally became addicted to it. I'm completely addicted to geranium. I have to have it on my body every single day, or I like go through withdrawals, I swear to God. And so I needed to deal with these hormones. And so I just started looking in the book on the different ways I wanted to feel, the different emotional things that I was dealing with. And so like adding the oil of clarity, adding the oil of love and trust, adding the oil of a buoyant heart, and different things like that. With all these different essential oils, they have different personalities and different emotional benefits for you. And then I'm totally into crystals too, right? And so I was like, ooh, I'm going to add crystals to these blends, and I'm going to use the crystals that are going to also give me that particular emotional benefit. And I'm going to put those in and marry those together. And so I just started marrying the crystals and the oils, and I just literally sit like a little alchemist at my table, and I'm like, okay, 2 drops of geranium, and I mark that down. And I'm like, I need some bergamot in there. So 3 drops of bergamot, and I mark that down. And then I go on with the different oils that are in like that blend particularly. That's the first blend I ever made because I wanted a custom blend to deal with my hormones.
Right.
And so, yeah. And then I was like, oh, I've got to add in some really amazing goddessy stuff to this, because I was totally into, the divine feminine and the goddess and all the moon, goddess Diana and Lakshmi and Fortuna. I mean, just, oh my gosh. And so I started adding crystals and oils that went with them. And that's my process. That's how I started coming up with these. And so I just make them according to the emotion that we want to nurture or enhance or help move through. So, yeah.
So it's your potion book.
It's my potion book. And so now I have a book of magical spells and potions that I've made that is mine, right? Of all of my magical spells and potions. So, and it's literally called The Essential Goddess Book of Magical Spells and Potions.
Do you sell this book on Amazon?
No, it's just a little ebook, that you get when you decide to get your own account with me, and I get to be your teacher. So when I get to be your consultant, your teacher, your nurturer on how to use these oils in your life every day, then you just get that. That's part of my thing. So
Okay. So it's in your goddess group.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's a great little benefit.
It's fun. Yeah.
Yeah. So my friend Kelly, we're neighbors, and her kids are 6 and 11, I believe. And I want to say that they've only been on antibiotics 1 time. They totally use essential oils and for everything. And it's so incredible because her kids heal so quickly, and because she's always using essential oils, really high quality essential oils.
Right.
And so all the neighbors, anytime, we've got I've got an earache or I remember, this is actually before we really knew each other very well. Mm-hmm. I was pulling a pot out of the oven, and for whatever reason, I didn't have hot pads on. I stuck my hands in the freaking oven. It was so dumb. Right. Anyhow, so I burned my hands. And so, we got lavender, and I can't remember what else she gave me, but she immediately brought it over. She doctored my hands up, and I had blisters on my hands. It healed so fast. It was unbelievable. I was
Exactly.
like, it's magic.
It is magic, right? It's
Totally magic.
It's
Yeah.
totally magic. Yeah, that's
Okay, so that's going to lead us into, let's talk a little bit about your, you and Darren's, do you want to talk about that? Is that okay?
sure.
Okay.
I'm totally open about all that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I love your relationship. I mean, you just, you walk in the room and y'all are such a confident, commanding couple. And just you both are, the energy that you put off is, you just draw people in, right? And so, and both of you do. It's not just you. I mean, because of course you're bubbly, beautiful, blonde that, you know all about oils and all of that. He is just as genuine and warm-hearted and lovely a human being. And so, and y'all are just like a power couple. You're beautiful people. And I love, your energy is just contagious. I love that my son got to, our booths were right next to each other. So I love the fact that my son got to, kind of get some of that good, masculine energy, from Darren and all of that. So talk just a little bit about, the things that you guys have created over, because I know it hasn't always been this way, right? And so you've created some really cool things over these last, decade, or maybe it's less than that. And just kind of walk me through a little bit of that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, we're 50. Our kids are now out of the house. But it hasn't always been, obviously, when you've been together 30 years, you go through a lot, and so we've always been really close, but we really learned to nurture our relationship in a spiritual way. And so when the oils did come into our life, it really drew our connection even closer. And when we started learning about, I'll just say, I mean, sex magic, right? Okay.
Right.
Our sexual chemistry, our sexual energy as women is extremely powerful and magnetic. We are magnets, right? We magnetically draw the people, places, things, situations, circumstances to ourselves of what our goals are through our magnetic energy, the divine feminine energy, through our sexual energy. And so, and the same for the masculine, right? And so when the divine feminine and the divine masculine can come together and join together as a team, as a couple, and work together with that energy, it's extremely powerful. And obviously, as like a couple, putting your goals together as one and moving forward with them, and then empowering those goals with that powerful sexual energy, it's magic. It creates intense magic. So more intense than it would have been. But I mean, we've gone through so much stuff. I mean, we've gone through the ups and the downs and the, no sex for a month, periods in our life and that kind of thing. Now things have completely changed for us. And we really, really want to help couples that are, let's say their kids are in high school, let's say their kids are in high school, and, that's when the kids graduate from high school, a lot of times that's when couples figure out that, oh my gosh, I don't even know you.
Right.
And they've been so distant for, into their own careers or whatever, or just kind of faded away from each other. And then when the kids are out of the house or gone out to college, it's like, they're like, oh my gosh, we don't even talk anymore. We don't have anything to talk about. We don't have a connect, we don't really have the connection we used to because the kids aren't here anymore. Anyway, so we really want to help people get through, how do you create that connection if you have lost it, and to keep that connection if you're there and you see, okay, I see that as a possibility. We really need to start, ramping our relationship up so that when the kids do leave, we can then go, woohoo, kids are out, it's our time,
Exactly.
Yeah, instead of a lot of things that happen, that it's like, okay, we're splitting up because we just don't have anything in common anymore. We haven't been having sex because we haven't been, it just hasn't been there and whatnot. So, I mean, I don't know how far you want me to go into like that stuff, but that Darren and I have created an amazing relationship, an amazing connection together through utilizing our spiritual connection with the divine feminine, divine masculine, marrying that together and using our energies through our, I would say, tantric sexual sorcery rituals that we do. It has literally changed our sex life, our personal life, our connection to each other. Like it's absolutely, it's almost, there's no words to describe this connection that we have now. And yeah, we just really want to share that with other people, because I just would love to have, if everybody can feel this with their spouse, their loved one, it's just beyond words. It's hard to explain until you actually experience it. But that's what we're looking to bring forth, is helping couples create this connection with each other and just being able to move forward in their life together as a team, and just being so in love with each other that you are absolutely unbreakable.
I love it. So do you have plans, or is there anything that you can talk about yet, or is that still in the works?
Well, it's still in the works, just because it's a lot. It's really intensive.
Of course.
Because I'm like, when we, like my beginning, right? I'm not this, online entrepreneur, like course creator girl, neither of us are. So we're like, oh my gosh, we want to bring this to everybody. We've created this for ourselves, and now we want to share that. So it's taking us a little while to figure out, okay, what do we do? How do we do this? How do we bring this forth? Darren would love to start coaching men, because men need help in this department. They really do. He's like, it would have been helpful to have somebody there for him, but there wasn't. We just figured it out ourselves, because there's no courses out there like this, what we're creating. There just isn't anything out there. So we're literally going off of, okay, let's figure out how to create something like this for people. So we're creating a course. I don't even know what it'll be called, but we're working on it. What we're going to do is we're going to just start a podcast.
Perfect.
It'll be a video cast, because I am much more comfortable on video than talking into something. Anyway, so we're going to create a video cast that we'll put on YouTube and that kind of thing, to start this and start conversation about creating this connection.
And it's opening the conversation. I mean, I think that sex is so taboo, and it shouldn't be. I mean, it's like, I mean, why is it such a taboo topic? It blows me away that people get all like, ooh, sex. Like, it's natural. That's what we're here for. That's where babies come from. And lots of pleasure and creation.
And awesomeness, right? Yeah, and deliciousness, right? And let's just create more deliciousness in our life. Oh my gosh, right? And you're so right. It's a taboo subject. It's like, oh my gosh, people are like, oh, you said sex, or oh, what are you talking about? And I'm like, I'm not shy about it at all. I will literally come out. I will talk about it totally openly, because I mean, we all do it. Sorry, yeah, I do. And so what is holding people back from really learning and understanding and sharing and saying, I'm having problems in this area. How can I feel more confident about my body, and, you know, so that I feel sexier every day, so that my husband is more drawn to me, and him the same thing. You know, that's another thing that really goes into this as well. When we did we need to talk about all of this stuff, right? Because we need to really, really hone in on ourselves. And the more confident we can feel within our own bodies, about our own bodies, the sexier we can feel as women, the more we're going to want to have sex, the more we're going to be drawing him in. And then if our guys can also feel more confident about themselves and look in the mirror and go, yeah, I look pretty damn good. You know, I'm going to take care of her upstairs tonight, and I'm going to work that, right? If they can feel more into themselves as well and feel sexy themselves, and not for others, but for their wife, right?
Right.
And for themselves, because the sexier you feel, the more you want to do that, the more you feel good about yourself, and that transitions into every area of your life. And if you look at this, if you look at people who have a lot of sex in their marriage, look at and I have seen this in our life, when our sex life is good and we are, you know, on it and it's happening and we are, you know, really attracted to each other. And we've gone through the bit, you know, the highs and the lows and the none and now the skyrocket, right? Look at the pattern in your life. When you are having sex as much as you can and you're really into that, your life seems to really be ramping and going, and things are happening, and businesses are flourishing, and job promotions are flourishing, or whatever it is that you are wanting in your life, it's happening. When your sex life is in a lull, it's kind of stagnant, right? Everything else in your life is kind of stagnant. Sex is literally, that's how we create that's how we create our life. That's how we create that. If you think about it, and I also teach I have a webinar that I did, and this is where I have learned that I have to be completely authentic. I cannot try and recreate something, because I get all tongue tied and I can't even think. It's crazy, and you saw that happen because I'm like, I'm trying to recreate this thing. This is not going to be easy. But I did a webinar called Raise Your Sexual Energy and Become a Money Magnet. Because if you think about this, and I talk about that in this little webinar.
I'm taking notes.
Okay. the orgasm. Okay.
Right.
What do we create? That is the energy of creation. It's the vibration of creation. When the orgasm happens, we are creating a child, right? That's how we create babies. That's how we create humans, is with the orgasm.
Right.
So if we are not creating a baby, when you have the orgasm, what are you creating?
Exactly.
Whatever the hell is running through your mind at the time, okay? Whatever the energy is that you are dealing with or going through, that is what you're creating. So
it's
being
the feeling and the energy.
Exactly. And so if you can be very mindful of when you do go into a sexual encounter with your beloved divine masculine, and you are feeling, and you are together as a spiritual couple and very intimately connected, and you can both focus on the same thing at the same time, and feeling into that delicious, lustful, erotic energy during your orgasm, you're going to create amazing things in your life, because you are creating more of that magnetic energy that's drawing things into you. And so we also, Darren and I have a practice that we do, and you got to learn that at the Quantum Revolution Tour. And yeah, so we use sigils, and I can go into that later, but that's something that's very technical, but because our subconscious mind thinks in symbols, right?
Right.
Logos are symbols. You know, Nike is basically a sigil. The Nike swoosh is a sigil. The McDonald's M is yeah, it's a sigil, right? It's a logo, but it's actually a sigil, and it's programming your subconscious mind.
Of course, yeah.
And so if we can utilize, because when you're having sex and you are wanting to create something out of that, instead of just chaotic, whatever is going on in your mind, and you're wanting to focus in and hone in. And that's why I call it sex magic, because it is magic. You're creating magic. When you do, you can create a symbol of your goal, okay? Right. And then when you have the orgasm, you can project that orgasmic energy into that sigil, and that goes to the ether, and it will manifest very quickly for you and come back, versus sitting there doing affirmations, 50 affirmations, writing stuff down 25 million times, and right. all that kind of thing, it's just, it's magic.
It's faster manifestation.
It really is. So yep. It's amazing, because if you're trying to, there's a lot of, there's some teachings out there that will try and teach you how to do that. It's called orgasmic manifesting.
Okay.
And it's just, okay, well, think about your goal when you have your orgasm. Just think about your goal when you have your orgasm. Okay, well, no, thank you. I do not want to be thinking about my goal when I'm in the middle of this beautiful, lustful, erotic situation.
Right.
Enjoy myself. I do not want to be sitting there thinking about, whatever.
Yeah. Are you almost ready? Think of your goal. I
know, right? It's like, it totally ruins the whole thing. It's not going to happen. And so then you're like, okay, whatever. And so we use sigils in our manifestation rituals that we do. Anyway, and so we'll teach we'll have that as a program as well. Totally, that whole thing.
Absolutely.
Very detailed and like intimate, like talking about, okay, this is what you need to do exactly. Because it is also very powerful. So we do have to be very mindful of how we use that as well.
Sure. I know. I remember the first time that you two spoke in Vegas. That was the first time you two were on stage together, right? In Vegas? Yeah. Vegas. I mean, I know you were in Miami. But at the QRT tour, y'all were together in Vegas.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I caught you guys. We were going up the elevator together, and I'm like, oh, you two are going to be on Netflix. This is a Netflix special. I see it. Yeah, I think that was my whole my little intuitive thing. You'll think, oh, hey, Nicole said that back in Vegas.
Oh my gosh, yeah, just wait. Oh my, see, now you've got that out there, right, into the
exactly.
And that'll come about. Oh my gosh, we're gonna do Netflix. Woohoo! That'll be fun.
That's right. Okay, so let's see. We talked about essential oils. We talked about your awesome, and I love that you're so real, because I mean, you've been married for 30 years, so of course you've had so many changes in your marriage, right? I mean, life is about change, and especially as you're growing as humans and parents and homeowners and animal owners and business owners and and ups and downs with money, and and your body's changing and everything. I mean, life is about change, and I love that you've said, you know what, we're gonna freaking rock this thing. There's no settling, and we are moving forward. And so I think you have a lot to teach a lot of people. And that is just going to create this beautiful energy with couples who are, you're right. Because, so the whole group is helping women remember who they are before the world told them who they were supposed to be. And I think so often,
I love that.
oh, thank you. I
Love
think
it
that
so
we can
much.
forget, right? We can forget who we are. I know that I did. And I'm so glad that, I had some friends that were sending me whispers. And so then I just started digging in deeper and deeper to my remembering. But we get so caught up in, are you a good parent? Are you a good employee? And the shoulds and shouldn'ts. And so makes me happy to know that, after how many years, 30 or 31?
Well, it'll be 31 this next February.
31 years. And you're like, fuck that. We ain't going down. We going forward.
Exactly. Exactly. Right.
Yeah. We're
Because
we're stepping in.
Yeah. Like back in 2008, we were like, okay. And then I was like, you know what? I think it'll be harder if we do like split up. So hell, let's just connect together hard, even more powerfully. And things just like literally skyrocketed for us. So yeah. So when you can connect together, it's amazing.
And so that's exactly what I wanted out of these. So by the way, you can podcast from Zoom. So if you're doing, yeah. I will figure that out. I actually, I have a meeting with my web guy this week and he was going to help me figure it out. But yeah, you can do that.
It records it
right
as a audio and separates it so you can put it on the podcast.
Yeah. So I'll send you some videos and things that I've been watching on YouTube. So
awesome.
Yeah. So, okay. So we talked about, I think that we probably pretty much covered everything, but everybody is at a different place in their life emotionally. And, life is a lot of times like this. And so if this Hopecast, we'll figure out what we're going to call it. If this Stay Wild Child episode, if you find yourself that maybe you're kind of been going down like this, just know that, there's definitely time to ramp up again.
Absolutely.
Right. And that's what I think that, a lot of times I've got this so many times, and because I have a successful direct sales business as well, same as you. Yeah. And, so I think a lot of times people will look at me and think, oh, well, of course you can do it because you're not struggling. But right before that, I was struggling, and I had to let go of control. And I also, dug deep into my spirituality and that first digging deep, those first realizations and that awareness and that it wasn't easy. There was definitely some dark nights but I stayed the course and I stayed consistent. And I knew that even if there were a few down days that, the days right after that, we're going to get a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better. And it's still like, even now, it doesn't mean that there won't be days where I'm not like, holy shit, what am I doing here? Right. But they're shorter because, we've dug deep and we've experienced that growth and that healing and releasing those old limiting beliefs. Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And there's so many tools now, and there's so many, and there's so many people that will lift you up and help you through as well. Right. And join together when you do have that lull or that, and you feel like you're like going down, there's with the tools that you obtain through this struggling, really, we don't grow through the highs, we grow through the low times, and so just know that and not that I'm not going to have this shit happen again, right? Like next week might be a shitstorm. I got to dig deep and dig myself out, right? And so, I don't know where I was going with that, but anyhow, there's you're always going to come back up. You're always going to come back up. There's always hope, and there's always, like I was struggling before my business took off, right? I mean, that's just how it goes, right? We were struggling and completely changed our life through learning all of these things, and then being able to just keep going and pulling on the divine, love that was surrounding us. So yeah, I love that, Nicole, what you just said, that you're going to be able to come back up.
And I love that the path isn't clear for you right now. Like, you kind of have a general idea of what you and Darren want to accomplish together, but you're not totally sure exactly where that's going, but you just continue to take the steps forward. And as you continue to take those steps, the path just starts widening and widening and getting, clearer and clearer. And and it doesn't sound to me like there's even a huge expectation except for to help other people, right? Who are in this area of, not knowing which direction to go in their relationship, and you want to be that light to them.
Absolutely. Yeah. And maybe that's even part of, it's taking us a little bit because we just don't know, right? We don't know. This is a whole new experience for us to do something like this. I mean, we're construction business owners, right? And so, it's all new for us to do something like this together. And so, yeah, we're learning together and just, but we're just going to forge forward and go for it and figure it out as we go, because that's really all you can do is kind of surrender and go, okay, just show us the way. We'll just keep following the little breadcrumbs to create what we want to create. And that our main purpose and goal is to really help other couples feel the same way we do, and have that divine connection with each other like we do. And so we really want to bring that forward to people and show them how to do that, and show them basically just share what we did to create that for ourselves. So yeah, that's what we want to do.
It's a huge gift that you're giving to people. So, all right. So okay. So the way to get into your group is basically to decide that you want essential oils and decide that you want to be a part of doTERRA. Is that correct, to get into your Essential Goddess group?
Well, yeah, I have, it's called Oil Magic with the Essential Goddesses. And it's basically my 24/7 support group for all the gorgeous, amazing, divine feminine women who are using the oils, right? And it's for us to learn how to use the oils, because the main challenge is that I found is like, well, yeah, I'd love to use the oils, but I have no idea what to do. And I'm like, okay, well, we have our group that once you get your account, and it's just a simple account, just like Costco or Amazon Prime, and get a little starter kit or not. And then you get to get into the group and get all the fun books and all the fun directions and all that stuff, and talk with the other ladies in there, and we do education and that kind of thing. So yeah, you just get an account, and then you are able to get into our group and hang out with us and talk about it.
I plan on bringing Alwyn onto one of these podcasts as well. I'd like for her to show some of the, because I've bought things from her every time I've gone to the QRT tour, because I love her bath salts that she makes, and and the bath wash and all of that. And so I'd love for her to come on and kind of like do like a little interactive, kind of podcast and talking and, kind of connecting and that type of thing.
That would be awesome.
But that is such a, like, if you're looking for, Christmas is like right around the corner. And so what a great, thoughtful gift, because you're always putting blends. And so like, this is your own blend that you've created, the Essential Goddess blend, but you're always putting like you put one up for, I think a full moon blend. And then, and we didn't even go there. Okay. We're going to have to talk about all your connections.
Go there, did we?
We didn't even go there.
I even have my moon deck cards right here.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do this again, because I totally want to pick your brain about all that. But we'll have to do it again. But I love all the blends that you put up, because it's just, you know, it's just getting the little roller balls. And I know I've made a blend for my son, and I've made a blend for my husband, and those are, and I actually made one for my mom and dad too. They're not, they're not real fond of, like, my mom's not real fond of being on an airplane.
Okay, sure.
So, yeah. So I made her one of those little, I don't know if you call it anxiety blends.
Sure. Whatever.
Yeah.
Anxiety,
Yeah. So I
calming.
made her like a little roller ball with, I think I put some serenity in it, and maybe, I don't even remember everything that I put in it, but I made one of those for her, and I gave it to her for her birthday. And I gave her some, the lozenges. Is it called On Guard?
Yeah, the On Guard lozenges. Yes. They're just,
I gave her some of those.
Those are amazing.
She works around a lot of children, and so my brother and sister-in-law own a dance convention and competition, and so my mom does like all the awards and that type of thing. But she's around, you know, like 1,000 kids, and
right.
Yeah, and it's, you know, getting colder, and, you know, sometimes, you know, little strep throats and all those little things are walking all around, and so I got her those lozenges. I'm like, Mom, here, suck on these. All the time while you're doing these events, suck on these little lozenges.
It'll just ward it off, right? So you don't even get sick.
Yeah, I want to get her, and so I know my little auto ship order is coming up, so I'm going to get her some of the On Guard oil as well. Can you put that in your water, like a drop?
You can put like 1 drop in your water and drink that. They also have gel caps with it that you can take every day. Like, my parents take that every day because they don't do the flu shots or anything like that. So they make sure they take that every day. You know, you can, and diffusing it in the house is just so powerful as well, because you're taking that in through the limbic system and it's going through the system. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
But I mean, it's such a perfect time of year, you know, because it's such a thoughtful gift to give someone.
It is, right? Yeah.
We have like, what am I going to give somebody? I mean, it's, you know, like, you know, just a little knick-knack thing. It's like, no, give something with some thought. Make up some oils.
Right, exactly. And I mean, it just exposes people to the amazing benefits. And I mean, I would be that's all I give. I only give oils to people, or oil accessories and stuff like that, like my necklaces and things like that. Diffusers, whatever. So yeah, it's a really, really great thing to give as gifts. And you know, when you're in our group, you get to know, like, oh my gosh, I even have what I'll be doing here soon. We have our holiday items that went on sale on November 1st. Some of the stuff is already sold out. Like the Serenity Mist is sold out, but there's still quite a few little amazing little holiday items that you can give as gifts. But I also have like a little, like a stocking stuffer idea that are for people that we put in there that they can, I mean, just like $10 things. Right, that they can give to people, you know, anyhow. So yeah, it's very, very, it's really awesome to give a gift of essential oils, and really, really kind of a spiritual thing almost, you know.
Yeah, it's just, it comes from such a place of love.
It does. So it's just really powerful to do that, and I think people really appreciate it. So really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being on episode 2 of #StayWildChild. I don't know if I should say the hashtag all the time. I think I probably need to Google that. Google. Yeah. But, you know, I do. I want you to come back on, and I want to get deep into the astrology and the moon phases and all that. And because you have so much wisdom around all that. And I love it. I always share everything that you post into Stay Wild Child, because I'm newer in that area, and I love reading it. I love your take on it all.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. That's really my passion too.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh.
So I see a few Netflix series coming from Lisa McCullough.
Oh my goodness. Oh, that would be fun. Oh my gosh. I'm going to have to think about that more.
Yeah. Well, thank you everybody for jumping on today. And we'll be back next Monday. And I got my hair done, so next Monday we'll be back at noon Central Standard Time.
Yay!
All right, thanks, girl. Love you bunches. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. We'll see ya. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Let me see if I can close this out.